All right, welcome guys to Smooth Operator Part 7 this will be, I think. And we're heading into the Monaco Grand Prix, but first let's take a look at how Carlos Sainz did in the previous Grand Prix. So taking a look here, Imola was the previous round, Lando Norris picking up the victory there with Charles Leclerc second and Max rounding out the podium. Carlos finishing in a 8th place, which really seemed like the most we could do. Lewis Hamilton had some damage in that race. Had to take a front wing, I believe it was, after his first stint, and still ended up in front of us. So he definitely had the pace. You can see that by Charles Leclerc. And so yeah, we're coming into Monaco today. So let's hope that we can manage a little bit of a better result. We do have a chassis coming in. If we take a look here, chassis 5 will be complete. We will also complete the sponsor plan. So let's see what that does for our financial situation. And then let's take a look if we can maybe consider emergency manufacturing a chassis for Monaco. It's always a bit of a gamble, of course. If Sainz crashes with that chassis, it's going to be very expensive. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. Let's head to the sponsor plan. Oh, as we can see here, target achieved. We get 2.5 million from our sponsor plan. I think we had a... Yeah, there we go, a wind tunnel hire. So that's really boosted it up. It gave us 4.7 million, which means we can probably afford to do another intense design, which is really going to help us along. There we go, chassis 5 is complete. We're going to take a look at the manufacturing cost here. Chassis 2, but chassis 3 is quite a bit of an upgrade. So chassis 3 top speed goes up by 0.19 kph, which obviously isn't much. DRS effectiveness though goes down by 0.80%, which again in the large scheme of things probably doesn't matter much. But the big thing here, the medium speed and high speed goes up by quite a bit. I don't know if we actually go up a rank. No, we don't, but it should bring us closer to that top 4 again. So we can fight again with maybe Ferrari or Mercedes. Maybe not Red Bull or McLaren, but yeah, we'll see. So let's see, how much does it cost to emergency manufacture one? 2.2 mil. I think at this point we just take it, and then we also start thinking about making some new parts as well, and maybe some intense designs. So let's confirm this. There we go. Alright, so coming to take a look at the design front now. We still have that rear wing and suspension, both iteration 4 on the way. But what we're going to do now is we've put in another design, an intense design for the new chassis, which actually was looking pretty good. And then on top of that, we're making a front wing. That's going to be a normal design, because I think a front wing intense design cost us like 5 million or something, so we're not going to do that. So just a normal design there. Again, we're taking the longest cycle we can just to get more expertise to make sure that the next parts are good. But yeah, so chassis 6, intense design, front wing, just a normal design, and then in about a month's time and a bit less, we'll get our new suspension and rear wing as well. But with that being said, let's head into the Monaco Grand Prix. Yeah, so Xavier Arnoux came up to us with a bit of an issue here with the wind tunnel. We have some issues, and he asked us to pause them for 8 days, else we risk the chance of it getting worse. But the thing is, it says it's impacting our chassis 5, which is already done, so that's not entirely correct, but it will impact the rear wing and suspension we're making. So yeah, we're gonna approve of the investigation. We don't want to take any risks with further delays. Then we come into the sponsor plans. Again, I'm just gonna set this up, and then I'll show you what we've done when we accept it. Alright, so coming into the Monaco Grand Prix weekend, we have obviously a normal structure, just 3 practice sessions, then qualifying and the race. But as you can see, heavy rain predicted for both qualifying and the race, which, well, if it is anything to go by our previous race where we had some rain, it's not going to end well. But we will sure try to. There's a 33% chance of a safety car, which is actually less than I would you know, imagine Monaco having with how tight of a track it is. But yeah, let's head into qualifying and see how we can do. All right, heading into qualifying 1 here. We're gonna send Sainz and Albon out for an initial lap. It does seem like the rain might be clearing up a bit towards the end of the session, so we'll probably have to go out for a lap 2. But yeah, let's see what we can put on the board. Will again be a tricky weekend for Albon here. In practice, he actually messed up his front wing. So yeah, we had to put him on a different kind of front wing. Coming across the line, what will it be? 19.9 for Sainz, and then Albon will put in a lap time that's about half a second slower. There we go. We're gonna send them out now, and it should be ideal when we get to do our laps. Again, we should have the best track conditions, and then come in to the last corner. We will go across the line, and what will it be for Carlos Sainz? It is gonna be P2. Very nicely done. Okay, and then Albon, where will he end up? P8. Okay, yeah, so really taking advantage of those weather conditions, and we make it through Q1 comfortably. Oh, a big crash here in Q2, I think. Let's see. Let's hope there isn't a red flag for this one. What happened with Hadjar? Ooh, taps the front left, but it does seems like he does keep going, so lucky for us. But that will be Hadjar out in this qualifying session for sure. Okay, again, coming across the line here with about 50 seconds to go, or through the last corner. We're going to come across the line with about 35 seconds to go. Again, last drivers on track. We've mounted some inter tires. You can see the track again is drying out. So we should again get a good qualifying session in here, with the fact that we will be the last ones out on track, and the track will keep improving throughout this lap. So let's see what Carlos puts in. 20.6 for the first sector. Okay, coming into the last sector now. Just have to hook up a couple turns here. And then Sainz heading down to start finish straight. What will it be for Q2? Should be a top 10, surely. Ooh, only just P8. And then Albon, what will he do? Oh, Albon only P13. As we have a visitation from a cat. All right, so Q3, we're heading out on track immediately, because as you can see, the rain is going to pick up in 4 minutes here. So we really want to be out on track when the track is at a very good state. So yeah, it's going to get a lot worse. And throughout the qualifying session, it's only going to get wetter. So yeah, we just need to make sure we're one of the first ones out. And that will probably be the only lap Carlos gets here. So we've put on a fresh set of inters to give him the best chance here. And let's see what we can do. All right, Sainz coming across the line here, heading into Sector 1. Not too far behind George Russell, I think it is. And again, we're just banking on this lap to be a good one. Oh, and there is a red flag. Red flag. Antonelli, I think, in the wall. There we go. Antonelli. Oh, and just misses the... Is that the first corner he went into? It kind of looks like it, right? Or is that Mirabeau? Is that Mirabeau where he... after the casino where he crashed his car? But that is, I mean, positive for us. Let's hope he's okay, but positive for us. All right, heading through Mirabeau. Yes, this is where Antonelli crashed the car. So he will be starting out in P10 unless he has to take some extra components, and he will be starting a bit further back. I also saw that Leclerc somehow picked up a penalty, so he will probably drop back a couple of positions. And then again, heading through the Nouvelle Chicane. So it's just a straight run. We do have a purple middle sector, but obviously that will, yeah, probably get beaten by one of the Ferraris behind, which is probably Leclerc. And then heading down to the start-finish straight, what weight can Sainz put in? Let's see, it's going to be an 18.1, and how does that compare to one of the Ferraris? Hamilton, 17.1. Ooh, a second slower. That is not too promising. All right, so here we go, Sainz, with another new set of inters. We kept 2 for the race, which should be plenty, of course, here at Monaco, because the tire wear isn't crazy. Big thing now is hoping we don't get blocked, because there's a lot of cars on their in-laps. Oh no, this is gonna be... We're definitely gonna get blocked here, I think. Yep, we sure will. So this will probably be a throwaway lap, I imagine. Then we'll probably get blocked again here, I imagine, with this car coming into the pits. But yeah, no improvement for Sainz, so it is gonna be P7 for the race. Oh, actually a good improvement in the last sector there. So that shows if we didn't get blocked, we could have maybe, you know, been challenging for those top 6 positions. All right, before we head into the race here, heavy rain is predicted, but it looks like it's going to be a clear start, so I'm interested to see when the switchover actually is. Okay, let's head into the Monaco Grand Prix. First, the starting grid. Lando Norris in first place, Lewis Hamilton second, then Max Verstappen, so the 3 different constructors in the top 3. Then George Russell, then Yuki Tsunoda. Charles Leclerc in 6th with a 3-place grid drop. Then Carlos Sainz in 7th, then Fernando Alonso, Liam Lawson, Andrea Kimi Antonelli after his crash in 10th. Pierre Gasly 11th, Jack Doohan 12th, Alexander Albon 13th. Esteban Ocon 14th, Isaac Hadjar 15th, then Hülkenberg, Behrman, Bortoleto, Lance Stroll in 19th, and Oscar Piastri actually starting off in 20th.
Well then, it's not long until we get started here, and we should be in for a tightly contested race. And there's no doubting that Lance Stroll is prepared to put in the hard work.
I don't think there'll be many expecting them to mount a challenge from P19, but I wouldn't discount their chances.
And the time has come. Let's go racing. We're here in the streets.
All right, 5 red lights. And let's see what happens as we start the race here at Monaco. Sainz in P7, up into P6 maybe. If take a look at it here, trying to get past one of the Ferraris in the form of Charles Leclerc. And heading up the hill now. Let's see, how is everyone doing on their tires? everyone on hard tires, especially except for Antonelli and Gasly. So they'll be electing to stay on the softer compound of the 2. And then Albon in P12. Again, for Sainz, the goal here is to stick with that top 6, or try at least. And if we can't do that, obviously try and get away from Liam Lawson. But the thing is, if we take a look here, it is going to be, you know, a hard to wet maybe, but we have to kind of see what we can manage. And Piastri with a mechanical fault, so he's not doing too well at the back here. Gives Norris a big chance to extend his lead. As a Sainz, yeah, dropping back a little bit now. And try to catch back up to Leclerc in front. Because after this lap, we do really have to turn down the aggressiveness. And then obviously we have to think about saving some fuel as well, because we heavily underfueled with that rain period that's incoming. And obviously hoping for a safety car as well, which would be nice. And chill out now with our deployment, and well, our deployment can still keep going. We're gonna keep that going as long as we can, but then we're gonna start thinking about conserving the tires a bit. And again, that top 6 just a bit too fast for us, it seems. We really need some serious upgrades to start competing with that top 6 because we're slowly losing touch with them, it seems. But again, we're not gonna stop trying, that is for sure. We're making some progress when it comes to Liam Lawson, so he's keeping Alonso behind, Antonelli behind. Big thing will be strategy, of course, today to see how that will play out, because we have some split strategy, of course. This one is Alex Albon switching to inters to wets back to inters. But then the suggested strategy for Sainz was switching to wet tires, so I think we again are gonna have to take a gamble whether to go for wets or inters. But yeah, we'll see when the time comes. All right, so lap 11, Piastri really struggling with his car here. Nothing on the replay, but you can see here he has a severe mechanical issue. Hadjar also has an issue. I think that's more... I think that's maybe like a pending investigation. But yeah, Piastri really struggling here. He's at the back of the train, only in front of Bortoleto. And yeah, his bit of challenging for the championship is falling apart here a little bit in the past couple races. But anyway, meanwhile, we are still P7 with Sainz. And managed to increase the gap to about 7 seconds to Lawson. Albon as well is kind of in no man's land. After this race, we might also take a look at getting one of the buildings upgraded for the morale of our drivers. But yeah, I'll probably fast forward now a little bit in the race and see once the rain period hits how we're going to manage our strategy. And then I'll see you back then. Oh, but a yellow flag first. What happened? Stroll has damage. Oh, typical Stroll. Here we go, P17 at the time of his crash. And then yet down the hill, just misses the corner completely. I'm surprised. Is he still going? Did he manage to keep the car going? Yeah, I guess so, but he will drop all the way to the back. All right, so we're on lap 24 here. Sainz has just been running his own race. Actually, Antonelli overtook Liam Lawson. And we've only extended the gap, so in that respect, Sainz is splitting up the both of the Mercedes cars, which is good to see. Lawson has started dropping back now, so Alonso just overtook him, and he is dropping away further, and Albon actually now getting into reach, as I think it is a tire deficit that Lawson has. So yeah, Lawson being pretty rough on the tires, so is Antonelli on his mediums. So that's why Albon is catching him now. So if I could overtake him before we get to that wet pit stop phase, that would be ideal. All right, Bortoleto with a lockup coming out of the tunnel. It's getting dark and gloomy out on the track now. The rain is starting to hit, and Bortoleto, oh, strange way to avoid a collision, but Bortoleto. Oh, and there is a safety car now, which means, oh man, that means we have to go for the wet tires now. We have the luxury of actually seeing what the leaders are gonna... Oh, it's a red flag, actually. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's see here. It was because of Bortoleto, I think. And then 3 minutes after the restarts, it's gonna be light rain. I wish I could see... I wish I could actually see what the rest of the session is gonna do, but I guess we'll have to go to inters. We can still change to the wets if we yeah, let's just go for the inters and then we can still change to the wets. Oh. Ooh, that was a okay. Weird restart, but okay. That was weird, so because I fast forwarded before the restart. The game did that as well. Ooh, and all the AI is on wet tires, so Yeah, in 3 minutes there's gonna be a wet session, so it looks like we'll be screwed over again during this race. But it basically means that we have to get a bunch of overtakes done now and try to extend our gap so we at least can change to the wet tires in a timely manner. So here comes Sainz now. Next to, who is that? Charles Leclerc. We're going to overtake him. So we do have the advantage now on the inters. But that advantage is going to fade quickly. So we're just going to go full push mode with Sainz and Albon. Try and decrease our deficit so we can make something out of this race and then hopefully have some sort of a tire advantage towards the latter stage of the race. So here comes Sainz again. Great traction on those inter tires up the inside now of Yuki Tsunoda. There we go, up into P4 now. And again, we're just trying to create some distance here. And then up the inside of Lewis Hamilton. Up into P3 now for Sainz. But we know that that advantage will drop away quickly. So again, we have to take advantage of this period. And up to P2 now, we're going to go, I think. Yep, up the inside of Verstappen. There we go. And now the last hurdle we have to clear will be Lando Norris, which we are coming up to now. But you can see the track deteriorating now. And I'm afraid we probably won't pull a 20-second advantage over these next couple of laps. So let's just see here. Sainz trying around the outside. Is going to get around Lando Norris now as well. But Norris actually doing his best to hold on to that position here. Just not great for us. There we go. Up the inside goes Sainz now, and now we try and create some distance. Let's use some deployment down the straight here. I mean, if anything, maybe we get lucky and we get a safety car after a while here. But yeah, you can see the track is getting very wet very quickly. So again, we just need Sainz to push and try and create an advantage here over the wet tires. Which, to be fair, he's doing decently. You know, he's not doing a shabby job, but we do need Albon to harvest some more energy. I wasn't paying attention to him. All right, guys, so we are about 3.5 seconds ahead of Norris. And yeah, the time to box is now. You can see the track is getting much wetter. Much more wet, and yeah, seems like the rain is only going to get worse, so it'll be wet tires until the end. You see Norris is gaining lots and lots of time now, so this is where we pit. I'm hoping we don't come out dead last. Getting out ahead of someone like Piastri would be good. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. So we double stacked our drivers here. I didn't want to speed up there, but let's see. Where do we come out with Sainz? Oh, so inside the top 10, which is actually pretty good, I think. Yep. So behind Antonelli, which is nice. We're just going to try and warm up the tires here, as I think other drivers might have to change their tires towards the end of the race still. So we might actually have a bit of an advantage here. So let's think about conserving some fuel. And let's just go to the standard fuel mode here. So maybe, just maybe, we can create some sort of advantage here over the AI with our strategy. All right, so lap 42 here. Our tires are definitely coming into play here. We can see here a lot of the AI getting below that 70% threshold now of the tires, and we're still on some fresh wet tires, so I'm hoping towards the end here we create a big advantage. Sainz now onto the back of Antonelli. I really want to kind of clear Antonelli and Alonso here, just so we get some clear air to work with, so we can get as close as possible to those top 6, and maybe this strategy will play out for us in the end. He is still going, so no safety car, which is good for us. The AI doesn't get to change their tires, but let's see here. Oh, just smacks the outside wall of the bottom of Mirabeau. And let's just put Sainz on aggressive for now. I really want to overtake these two cars ahead. Let's see, can we maybe into turn 1 do something? No, it doesn't seem like it. Just trying to maneuver our way around Alonso and Antonelli, but it's tough going right now. Let's see, we're really close onto the back of Alonso now. Please, Sainz, try something up the inside here. Yes, he does. Okay, here we go, here we go. Now we're in action. There we go. Well done by Sainz. Oh, yellow flag, another yellow flag. Oh, what happened? Alonso crashed now. Oh, so Alonso actually crashed after we overtook him side by side. What happens with Alonso here? Does he go slightly wide? Oh, did he clip the inside wall maybe? Hard to tell from that angle. But yeah, Alonso picking up some damage. Aston Martin won't be happy with that one, but good for us. That again gives more of a chance for Albon to get up closer again. Oh no. And Sainz crashing now. Oh. Minor front wing damage and suspension damage for Sainz now, which, yeah, we'll just have to tough out throughout the race here now. Let's hope we don't lose too much pace. But again, it's going to be a story of what could have been for Sainz, and I think we really need to give him that talking to now, because he can't be making mistakes like this. All right, so we are on lap 55. Sainz still carrying that damage. The lucky part of this is that Alonso and Lawson behind also have severe damage to their cars. So, yeah, we'll see here. The weather might be drying up here in the last 20 or so laps. The question will be, of course, like, when are we going to switch to inters? We could change our front wing if we do. We have quite a big gap with Sainz, so we'd only lose a couple of positions, I think. So it might be worth taking that gamble and getting a new front wing mounted. Obviously, we still carry that suspension damage, which obviously we can't do anything about. But yeah, we'll just see how we progress here. Obviously, we're now, even though we have a massive tire advantage, we're still carrying that damage. All right, so we're going to come into the box with Carlos Sainz here. We're going to also change the front wing. Again, we have a nice bit of clear track here behind us, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. Most that could happen is we end up behind the two Alpines. So let's see here. Try to get the wing off. See, again, it's a bad stop. The animation there, not really doing the best job. Let's see, can we get out in front of the Alpines? We're also going to bring Albon into the pits. There we go. We do get out ahead of the Alpines, so that's something. And again, these wet races are always so hard to judge because our weather center obviously isn't the best, so we always have to kind of guesstimate when the weather is going to clear up. But then sometimes, yeah, you get these really short kind of inter periods where maybe we should have considered just running the wets until the track dries up. But that being said, it is not exactly getting dry too fast. There we go. Sainz again. Overtake on Alonso down the main straight. Wow. Alonso still on his wet tires. So, that was an easy overtake, but again, the question being now, how is this all going to play out? We have about 10 laps remaining, a bit over 10, 12 laps actually, and the track is slowly drying out. So, question being, of course, will there be enough of a dry period for these other cars to switch over into? On very worn wet tires, the only one here is Norris. He's probably going to run away with the victory, if anything. And then Russell and Antonelli not too far off of disintegrating those tires either. And Stroll with a puncture. So his race goes from bad to worse. There he is. Another puncture slowing everyone down. He's on the wet tires. Yeah, the big thing here is that I want to try and get Albon past these guys here because they're really slowing us down. There we go, 2 for 1. And let's deploy here with Albon so he maybe can get past Piastri as well. Behrman there seems like almost he has a puncture as well. That's how slow he's going. And then Hulkenberg will be next for Albon. There we go. Tsunoda with a puncture. Tsunoda with a puncture. And he's only at the start of, well, in the middle of his lap, you could say. Just through Sector 1. Leclerc with a puncture as well. So this is where we could possibly start taking advantage with Sainz. Yeah, he's dropping back massively. Leclerc dropping back. This is very good for us. All the AI are getting punctures. And this is where we try and make our strategy work. Because they will all have to come into pit now. The track is still slightly wet. And then we hope it's still too wet for them to put dry tires on. And maybe if we're lucky, they keep running on these tires. So here is Alonso or Stroll again. And let's see now. What tires do these guys go on? They all go on dry tires now, which good call, but obviously we'll be able to time that better, hopefully. And take advantage of their misfortune. And let's see, I figure if the cars in front aren't pitting for their soft tires, yeah, so everyone's starting to pit. It is going to dry out now, so now is where we do go to the soft tires with Sainz as well. Albon now inside the top 10. We'll push him. And then we'll put him on soft tires as well. So, is a P6 on the cards here today for Sainz? I'm not quite sure, because Tsunoda is also on the fresh softs. But that being said, Antonelli, he's still going on the wets, unless Mercedes double stack now. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Good pit stop, hopefully, for the boys. There we go. People coming in with their issues. And here we go into the pits. Come on, fast pit stop. Okay, good stop, good stop. Then Tsunoda coming out of the last corner. He's going to get past us. Leclerc, maybe. All right, so Sainz here still P8, but Charles Leclerc now with a big mechanical issue in his car, and lots of these cars, as Albon now fighting with Gasly, and here's Lawson going really slow, and then Alonso in front as well. He's going quite slow, but Alonso a bit too far ahead. Do want to try and keep Albon along with Gasly here. But I just want to make sure that Sainz is in the running here. If Leclerc starts slowing down massively, that we can actually fight. Question being if Antonelli can keep us up his pace as well. Okay, so Leclerc, 3 laps to go. He's dropped behind Yuki Tsunoda. So I figure this is where we try and take advantage. Hopefully Leclerc drops back to us, and then Carlos Sainz can take advantage of that one. So let's cool the tires. And then maybe try attack on the penultimate lap or the last lap. All right, Leclerc now dropping into the clutches of Carlos Sainz. We're only 1.5 seconds behind him. And then we're actually not too far behind Yuki Tsunoda. So maybe with 2 laps of pushing at the end here, we might be able to pull off something here. And meanwhile, Verstappen is in the lead. He took full advantage of the strategic game today, and Red Bull did, with Norris in P2, Hamilton P3, so the 3 different top constructors battling it out for the win. Then here comes Sainz. Let's put him on aggressive mode, let's push the fuel, and let's give it everything to try and catch up to Leclerc and maybe even Tsunoda ahead. Yeah, Yuki really isn't that much faster than us, but I think we might have left it a bit too late. But P7 is on the cards, and obviously Albon, he's in that fight as well for P10. And now I assume Leclerc pushing as well, because we're catching up to Yuki Tsunoda. So let's start deploying. Piastri with a mechanical issue. He might drop out of the race. So now using our deployment, pulling to the left of Charles Leclerc, and we are going to pull off that move. Around the outside goes Carlos Sainz, and now up to the back of Tsunoda. Can we get a top 6 here today? Let's see, we're going really well here with Carlos Sainz. Come on, Sainz. Let's watch that overtake again. Sainz getting a really good exit out of the last corner, and then around the outside into Saint-Devote. Up the hill we go. And now we chase down the Japanese Red Bull driver. With everything we got, we have to take care of our fuel here. Albon has distanced himself from Gasly, which is good. We'll let him use the deployment as well, but Sainz here now. Come on. We're pulling up to a back marker here, right onto the back of Yuki Tsunoda. Up on the inside. Into the Nouvelle Chicane. And yes, we do it. Carlos Sainz up into P6. Yes. There we go. P10 for Albon, but the big overtake here for Carlos Sainz. Heading into the Nouvelle Chicane around the outside. Place where you normally wouldn't overtake, and then Piastri perfectly getting in the way of Tsunoda, actually. And that's going to be P6 for Carlos Sainz after a very tumultuous race. Having damage as well, Carlos Sainz, so let's not forget that. Suspension damage for half of the race. And comes across the line in P6. Vamos, Carlos.
And among the drivers heading back to their teams, we see Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, and in the end, it was a finish at P6, which will bring in a few points.
And no doubt, Verstappen fans will be celebrating the Dutchman's achievement.
That takes them up to 3 wins this season. They proved just so hard to beat.
Always a special occasion here in the incomparable Monte Carlo. They'll be pushing the boat out here tonight, no doubt. Now, Peru, no doubt there'll be a lot for the team to process after that race. But how do you think the Williams team are feeling?
They didn't do too badly today. Pretty respectable outcome as far as they'll be concerned. But they need to keep pushing. Can't afford to sit back.
And thank you everyone for joining us this weekend here in Monaco.
Formula One will be back to Europe for the next round on the shores of the Mediterranean with some heated competition to look forward to in Spain.
So guys, a nice P6 here for Carlos Sainz towards the end, really putting in a great performance with that damage suspension even. Imagine what it could have been if we didn't get that damage. It could have been a lot better, maybe even P4, P5, definitely P5 I think. But nevertheless, great performance by Carlos Sainz, and the first double point scoring finish for Williams, of course, with Alexander Albon finally picking up a point, so that is good to see. But yeah, Max Verstappen winning another race. That's his third race already of the season. Against all the odds, he is winning races. And Lewis Hamilton now second. Lando Norris dropping down to third. The strategy not quite working out for him. George Russell in fourth and Kimi Antonelli in fifth. So both the Mercedes very balanced there. Carlos Sainz in sixth, obviously. Yuki Tsunoda seventh, losing out to Carlos at the end. So does Charles Leclerc with his mechanical issues. Then Fernando Alonso P9, and then finally Alexander Albon getting inside that top 10, beating out Pierre Gasly at the end. Esteban Ocon in P12, then Ollie Bearman in the second Sauber, Nico Hulkenberg, Lance Stroll, Oscar Piastri really having a horrible race, then Jack Doohan, then Liam Lawson, and 2 DNFs in the way of Isaac Hadjar and Gabriel Bortoleto. Taking a look at the driver standings now, Lando Norris P1 still retains his lead, but Max Verstappen gaining a good bunch of points, only 11 points behind Lando Norris now. And then Lewis Hamilton third, gaining 2 spots with that finish, 120 points. Then Oscar Piastri, who drops down again. He's kind of been given away that championship run of his, because he started off really strong, but now being overpowered by both Verstappen and Norris. Charles Leclerc in fifth, George Russell picking up a decent amount of points, and then Carlos Sainz I want to say solidifying his 7th place, but as you can see, Andrea Kimi Antonelli is starting to score more points, so only 10 points ahead of Kimi Antonelli. Liam Lawson in 9th. Yuki Tsunoda, 2nd point scoring occasion, so he's slowly but surely getting to the point where he's going to overtake Liam Lawson in the point standings. And then Lance Stroll 11th, Fernando Alonso gaining 2 points as well. Pierre Gasly, Gabriel Bortoleto, Oliver Behrman, Nico Hulkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Alexander Albon finally hoisting himself out of P20 in the driver standings. It was about time. Jack Doohan then and Isaac Hadjar now in last place. And then taking a look at the constructors, McLaren still in the lead, even though their deficit has now been cut down by Ferrari, gaining 22 points over the 15 that McLaren got. Red Bull getting 31 points in the weekend, which they've really gained a mass amount of points. Mercedes still P4, and then Williams, us, of course, gaining 9 points. So again, distancing ourselves from the bottom 5, but we really need to start picking up some more points to be fighting Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari towards the end of the season here. Obviously, a lot of races to go, but again, we need to improve if we can. And now, for the first time in the history of this series, we get a nice payout here. Both Alex and Carlos both getting their sponsor deal or their race target completed. So a 350k from Alex and 700k from Carlos Sainz. So very nicely done there. That million will come in very handy, of course, because we have to replace a suspension and a front wing. Well, guys, that was it. Against all the odds, Carlos Sainz with damage to his suspension, finishing in 6th place at the Monaco Grand Prix. Next up, we have the Spanish race, so the home race for Carlos Sainz. Let's hope he can put in a great performance there. More of a conventional circuit, hopefully no more rain, because we've had our fair share of rain so far in the season, I feel like. But if you've liked the episode, please give it a thumbs up. Consider maybe subscribing if you want to see the next episode, and also hit the bell icon so you get notified of when I actually put out a new episode. And with that being said, I hope you had a great time. Let me know in the comments maybe if you'd like to see something else or what you thought about this race. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.